Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Dynasty podcast. It's just me today, I'm Toby, I'm in charge of the social media accounts for Dynasty. And today I wanted to talk you through, I've written up a couple of bullet points of what it's like actually going on the competition day. So what kind of experiences we had, things to prepare for if you're a team looking to go and race in F1 in schools. Pretty put in. I'm going to be playing a bit of Stardew Valley in the background. I would play a car game, but I don't have any, so this will have to do for now. This is the only one I can run on my old ass computer whilst I'm recording, because otherwise it'd just lag out. So like the days leading up towards the competition, they were sort of the most stressful of the entire thing. We were talking to our teacher that runs it, and he sort of said, the competition's more like a reward for the stress you experienced before. It's yeah, it is properly nerve-wracking. I think the main thing we focused on, especially the day before release, the thing that we focused on was getting the pit display fully done, because that was something we hadn't fully finished until the day directly before we had to leave, which is like understandable. A lot of the stuff we had, and a lot of the stress we had, is because of stuff that we could have prepared before. But it was a proper crunch time leading up to it. So I'd say, as a team looking to go to a regional event, the main point I'd say is 100% just getting everything done the week before. I'd say, if you can. It was a bit tougher for us because we were still trying to secure our car, obviously painting the car. There was a lot of delays in the process getting it printed and then painting as well, which takes a week at least, especially if you're a school entering with multiple teams like we did. So we had 2 entry class teams and then 2 development class teams. But yeah, the stress leading up towards it is not good at all. 100% try and get everything done a couple weeks before, especially the pit display, because we had some stuff, like I did some stuff last minute, completely honestly. Like we brought some music. I really like Jamiroquai. It's kind of been the whole theme of our social media campaigns. So yeah, it has sort of been the entire theme of our social media campaigns. It's all been backed by Jamiroquai, you know. Every post has had Jamiroquai in the background, blah 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 blah. And so I thought, let's bring some music with, and that really helped drawing people over. I'd say ideas-wise, the pit display needs to be something that isn't the main focus. It needs to be the thing that grabs the attention. Because, for example, I saw a lot of pit displays where they were just really bare bones, and they just had information in them, and they didn't tend to perform as well. So what happens is, later on when it's judging time, there'll be someone who walks over, and or at least 2. We had 2 people in ours, and they'll sort of assess your pit display on different criteria. I'm pretty sure you can find them online. I don't think we looked too much into it. We wanted to try and be as authentic as possible. But really what you want to do, a pit display is there to entertain the judges and say a bit about what you do. So I found a lot of the fun I had designing the pit display was making it attention grabbing, something that really, really pops out as well, especially. That's what really helps. We sell these. Yeah, like if you were to what do you see that? If you were just to do information, which a lot of teams did, then you tend to, judges would come over, they'd rate it okay, but you'd really be limited on the really critical time before. So when you're at the competition, the time when you're just trying to like settle in, like no one really knows anyone else there. It's sort of like a first day of school in a way. You wanna try and make some good impressions, you know. Especially on the judges. That's really important. And so it's really like you want to go and talk to people, but really what you want to do is have people come and talk to you. They want to be interested in what you're doing. I think adding music really helped. It sort of made our pit display like a little social area. And especially since the team next to us, we already knew they came from our school. So there was always conversation around our pit display. And even though I'd say their pit display had more information and was like aesthetically nicer, ours was more of like a social area. And it had more conversations like revolving around it, and that obviously got judges more interested. Other than that, other things we added, we coded a time reaction game. I say we, that was our design engineer. His name's Nathan, and he coded this game so that like especially the younger years, there are a lot of younger people like entry class, and they just want to go and see big displays, you know. So that was really good for drawing them over. Especially right at the start, we had a lot of younger people coming over just to play this game. I mean, it's like really simple, really bare bones, but really, really effective. And then we did tell the judges about it when they came over. We were like, we've been attracting people all throughout the day. You know, people keep coming over and trying out our different reaction time game. Listening to the music, you know, mainly just talking to us is what you want. You want people to come and talk to you. The last major thing we added that was a bit out of the blue, but not out of the blue, abnormal, that's the right word, is we made a time lapse of our car. So when we were designing it, our car was like we had loads and loads of screen recordings of our car being built, basically. Oh, chickens, there you go. Yeah, loads and loads of screen recordings of our car. And so we put those together, though this was a couple weeks before, but put them together in a time lapse. And then what we found is that just having that flashing, it's sort of just like a flashing light. It was so quick, 50 times speed, like shrinking like a 40-minute recording into like 20 seconds, and then just looping on YouTube on like a laptop. You really don't. I think we used a Chromebook for ours. You really don't need anything big. It's just that extra. It's like something to attract people to come over. That's the main thing I'd say with the pit display. So after you've set up your pit display, you move on to the enterprise portfolio. That's and the design portfolio as well. That's at least what we did design in enterprise, but I wasn't as involved in the design because obviously I'm in charge of social media. You know, I'm not really into that design side of stuff. I didn't build the car or anything. So yeah, I mean, design. You have to go and submit the car. I'd say for design, they asked, or at least from what I heard, they asked a lot of questions about how you tested the car, and that was the only thing we couldn't say we'd done because our school just didn't have the resources, you know. Which was a shame, but you know, it is what it is. So I'd say definitely just get your car into a hall with any sort of. You can get your hand. They looked like they came out of Amazon. The things they used to power the cars, the little I think they were carbon dioxide tube-looking things. They literally looked like they came from a big pack. Almost like batteries, you know. But just anything to get a video of your car going across a school hall or something, and then get someone on the other end to catch it, obviously, before you break it. But yeah, just stuff like that is so important, because that would have dropped us marks on our design portfolio. Enterprise, on the other hand, is entirely about checking boxes. So with the Enterprise, our Enterprise leader, Matthew, he spent so long proofreading and checking over our Enterprise, and we scored really, really highly. There was I think there was one point we dropped marks on, and that was not writing our names at the start, so I'd say that was pretty successful. And for the most part, that it is just small things. It's just making sure you don't forget stuff like that. Like for nationals, we're not going to be forgetting to write our names on the Enterprise. It's like the easiest thing to add, and then we would have got full marks, which I think's, if you're just checking boxes, you want to be checking all of them. Yeah, I'd say also regarding social media, I don't know if any other teams have designated social media leads, like my job is, but yeah, with social media, remember to put a slide in about that, just because that was the fact we had social media and that was a whole role within the team. That really helped. Like the judges were like, "Oh, it's different," especially if you're putting in good numbers. Like our stats are looking pretty good at the moment. We've had quite a lot of success over on Twitter, lots of success over on YouTube. It's just finding those averages, finding those stats, and just putting them all together. Writing a bit about why you do it as well, your different strategies, so you can you can watch thousands of YouTube videos on stuff to do, but in the end, all you want to do is make content that people would watch outside of F1 in schools, and that's it. That was my biggest focus, because I sort of think, if I wasn't taking part in the competition, would I be interested in it? Not necessarily. But if you can create a brand instead of an F1 team, and you can create a social media presence, not only does that cater to sponsors and judges and stuff, that also really caters to just a general audience. It shows that you can one second. You can sort of offer something else, Like you're not just saying, it's like if you wanted to produce music and you wanted to publicise on TikTok, no one goes on TikTok looking for songs to add to their playlist. They go there to, have experience some sort of, I don't know, experience some sort of idea or emotion from the video they watched, don't they? So you want to be selling, for us it's a focus on, we do a lot of shit posting, but the main focus is on, get rid of these. The main focus is just on, trying to get people laugh without realising it's an F1 in schools promo. So then because, I don't know, all the other social media stuff I've seen so far was entirely just, we're this F1 in schools team, follow our journey, and it's really, really standardised. So if you can just show the judges, especially on Enterprise, that you're bringing something else to the table that no other teams are, you've got this social media presence that is, numbers-wise, is completely outnumbering any other team from, a long, long time, then you can really rack up the extra points. So once you've delivered your design portfolio, and once you've got your pit display assessed, you go into the verbal, and this really varies for different people. Our team has 3 quite confident speakers. We're we're used to talking in front of groups of people. But one of our team members is less confident and isn't as comfortable memorising a speech and just reciting it off. And so he used flashcards, and that lost no points at all. Absolutely no points. Quickly sell these. Bosh, 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 bosh. Yeah, all it did was meant that the presentation went smoother, and they saw that, and they did compliment him on it as well, because if they see that you're reading flashcards but you're looking up, then they know that you're properly putting time into the speech. Because I guess you could write flashcards and not look up and not bother to memorise any of it. Oh, okay. And then what does that show about you and your team? You don't put much effort into it. They want to see that you're putting as much effort as possible into this presentation. Slides wise, you can do unlimited slides. So we had like 20 slides, 21 slides. I used loads because I'm a yapper and I got a lot to say. But they were all like a TED talk almost. Like you want to make the slides interactive, rhetorical questions, all the shit that you'd think you'd never use from English. Just like chuck it all in there. Rhetorical questions, like direct address to the judges. I really like. Well, what we did when we were practicing it a lot is we pretended that each other were the judges, and it sort of just felt most natural if you address the judges before you start speaking. So you go, "Hi, I'm Joel," whatever your name is, or "Hi, hello judges, my name is Evan," or whatever. And that really helps just break the ice a little bit, especially if you're nervous. Luckily, our judges, they literally didn't induce any nerves, at least me, because in the end, they're just nice people volunteering their time to try and judge and assess and help people go up to the same things that they've done. A lot of them are ex-F1 and Schools members anyway, like ex-F1 and Schools team members, so they're all incredibly nice. There's absolutely nothing to worry about. So as long as you can just keep them entertained, that's the main thing. Like part of the verbal was all about making the speech entertaining and like interactive. Well, if you're not entertaining them, if you're not at least making them think about what you're saying, you're just gonna tank points. You're gonna get absolutely none. So that was our verbal. Our verbal went very well. Those were the areas where our main points were gathered, like our pit display, talking to the judges, verbal, our enterprise, our design less so because of the things we missed, but in the end we gained points enough in the other categories that we didn't really have to worry about it. After that, you'll have a lunch period, or if you're entry class, you'll be straight into the races. And the races are... You'd think the races would be the main factor, but really the races don't. The races are sort of, they're points, obviously. Fastest car wins some points, or at least gets an award at the end. But if you're breaking regulations, you might as well strap a pole to a rocket and fire it down the end of the track and say you've got the fastest car, because, there's literally no leeway for any breaking of regulations. How do we know this? Well, our car came dead last. It was not a good car design compared to the others. Just because we didn't have much time to work on it. We could only produce one car as well, not other test types. And the only simulation stuff we could do was online, which is fine, but really you want to see it in a real wind tunnel, not one that's on the computers. So yeah, our car, again, the car, it just needs to follow the regulations. Our car came last out of our class, development class, but every other car in the competition broke regulations. I think that's the main point. If you break a single regulation at all, and we had people from our school did not know, like it isn't always intentional. I have some thoughts about another team I won't be naming also going to nationals and about their car and trying to sneak some stuff past, but it won't work. There's the judges, like they scrutinise and they will not miss any details that you like, any shortcuts you've taken, any corners you've cut, they will notice. And so every other car broke regulations, and if you break regulations, your car is immediately sent to the bottom of the speed bracket. You lose any points. If all the cars break regulation, then it just goes to the fastest car. But because we last place, our car was so overweight that it didn't have a chance of breaking any regulations. And we were really strenuous with checking it as well. But because our car was so safe, we got given the fastest car and the best car award as well. Which in the end I think is the main tipping point. Because I reckon we could have, if we had an average car, I have a feeling we would have made it through. But having that car that is, having the car that sort of, is the car that's won the competition in the sense of design, it's just like, it's a definite win from there. Like, you're 100% going through. If you've got like the best designed car and you've done well in your portfolios, it's guaranteed you're going through. That brings me to, I've got a list of bullet points to talk about on the side. That's why I'm yapping so much. Last point, the ceremony. Talking a bit about that. We were sort of, we didn't, because of how we performed in the race, and we didn't know about the rules and regulations and the disqualifications happening. We walked into the ceremony not expecting to win the best car award, and not because of how we performed in the race, we weren't fully confident we were going to make it through to nationals, in all honesty. If we had an average car, I think we would have been more confident, but our car, obviously, are you going to win with a car that's, you know, last in your heat? Probably not, unless something great happened like it happened to us. So we all sit down, and we're sort of sitting around, and we're sitting next to a team called Horsepower, lovely people, and like, I don't know, the confidence isn't high, because we didn't want to be too confident in case we didn't make it through, and that's just a bit of a bummer, isn't it? It's a bit of a disappointment if we didn't. So we weren't too overly confident. We were sort of just hopeful. That's how I'd describe it. We sit down. They're going through all the awards. We're nominated for a couple. Enterprise Portfolio we're nominated for. In the end, they give it to the pro class people, which I'm not salty at all. I just think if we just added our names to it, you know, we could have snagged that award as well. But in the end, it's all good. And so it gets to best car, and fastest car's already gone to a team. Shifter, I don't want to say shitter, it looks like it's spelled shitter. We got a pen from them, and afterwards we were sort of looking at it, and we showed it to one of the group's dads, and he was like, "Oh, someone's put shitter on their pen." Doesn't matter. Going on a tangent. Fastest car goes to them, but even then, if you break a regulation, you might as well be strapping a model block to the track. It doesn't matter. Like, if you've got fastest car and you've broken regulations, it doesn't matter at all. So we're sitting there, and we're sort of waiting for them to say, "Oh, Shifter have won best car," and it comes up on the nominations, Dynasty, and we're like, "What? That shouldn't be on there. That's not right at all." Like, because our car came last, didn't it? But what we didn't fully pay attention to was the amount of stress they were putting on right before that award. They were saying, if you break a regulation, then your car will go to the bottom of the heat. And they were saying that so often. I don't know how we didn't catch on to it. I think we all had hope, but didn't want to say it. You know, sometimes it just goes like that. And so it comes up, and it goes, and we're thinking, okay, we've been nominated, we're not going to win best car though. And we do. It comes up with our name on the top. And suddenly we're thinking, oh my god, we might have a shot at this. We performed really well in our verbal. We did really well in the Enterprise. Design could have been better, but improvements for next time. If we can just get this and get through, we can improve literally everything that was wrong. And it comes up, second place goes to Dynasty. And we're absolutely ecstatic. Not expected at all going into that. Shifter also goes through. So we've both won places at nationals. They're the biggest ops at the moment. But yeah, we were the single team from Norfolk to go through, which is quite an exciting prospect, you know. And that's pretty much all we need to know about the ceremony. There's entry class don't go to the nationals. That just isn't how it works. But yeah, development class and pro classes, first and second place go to nationals. I think that's all I have to say. I finished off all my bullet points. I haven't yapped too much either. Just stayed under the time. Had a bit of a timer as well. I've got some other things to do, some spreadsheets to make, you know. Oh yeah, keep track of your spreadsheets as well. Walking up to the event, that's really important. But yeah, thank you for tuning in for this episode. I'm going to try and get some interviews on with our design guy, talking about what we're going to do going forward. That's the next episode. I've got it planned. Yeah, thank you. See you all next time.